I think it tripped. Yeah, I heard. Yep. So the new Tesla app has a feature called Go Off Grid. When you click this, it isolates your house from the grid. Your whole house is only powered by solar and your power walls. You cannot sell to the grid. You cannot get power from the grid. It's basically a way to simulate, say, a storm hitting, cutting the power, and you surviving off grid. What is the purpose? One, it's to test your system. Two, it's kind of cool just to do. Maybe if you want to demonstrate it to friends or family, it's there for quick, easy access. Before this feature came about, the only way to go off grid was to go outside to your Tesla Energy Gateway and then manually do the switch. Okay, so let's quit talking and just do it. So if we click the Go Off Grid button, it says this disconnects your home from the grid and uses your Powerwall to simulate a grid outage. Reduce your loads to extend your time off grid. Your solar may curtail if Powerwall fully charges while off grid. Powerwall will automatically attempt to reconnect to grid if it encounters a go off grid. So basically it gives us an error because our Powerwalls are completely full. I've run into this before. So what we're gonna do is go into settings and I'm gonna change my backup reserve to 20%. That way my Powerwalls discharge a little bit so I can do this test. Okay, so I'm going to let the Powerwalls drain for a little bit. Then we can move on with the test. So the reason why the app is doing this, if your Powerwalls are at 100% and your solar panels are generating energy, if you go off grid, there's nowhere for the energy to go. And basically you could run into an issue where your power kind of flickers for a millisecond while everything's figured out. So the app is trying to create the ideal situation. So the ideal situation is there being available energy to be stored in the Powerwalls. If the lights just went off without warning, it would obviously work. You could maybe see a flicker, but what we're trying to do is create the optimal scenario. While that discharges, let me demonstrate something else. So like the Tesla itself, the Powerwalls now have an ability to pair a phone as basically a key. So I'm going to delete my paired device and repair it just to show you. So basically you have to go to the Powerwall and toggle the switch so it knows that you are the proper owner. So all I do is just flip the switch off, and then the app even says, flip the switch on to finish pairing. And it says pairing successful. So it's as easy as that, but basically what the app said, we're having to add these paired devices because Tesla is going to be coming out with more sophisticated and more advanced features, and they want to be able to confirm it's you. Obviously, if someone hacks into your Tesla account, we don't want them turning off your power, you know? So, you know, that's good. So if we go back to the energy flow, we can see the Powerwalls are discharging at their full capacity right now. 10 kilowatts is going right into the home to charge the Tesla. It doesn't have to get very low. It just needs to get slightly discharged so the solar energy has somewhere to go. But watch this. Let's go off grid this time. So now if we try to go off grid this time, it says your home is consuming more power than your Powerwall would be able to provide while off grid. So basically my home is using 15 kilowatts. The Powerwalls are only producing 10 kilowatts because 5 per Powerwall. So again, what the app is doing, it does not want you to go off grid unless you're under a preferable scenario. So what we have to do is stop charging the Tesla. Okay, so I got the Powerwall down to 95% from charging my Tesla a little bit. We should be able to go off grid now. The Powerwall is drained. We are not using that much power. So we should successfully go offline right now. Success. So it says we're off grid about 16 hours remaining. So the power walls are completely cut. You can see we're getting 3.1 kilowatts from solar, and our home is using 3.3 kilowatts right now. Now it went down to 7 hours remaining, 6.9 hours, just because the AC is running right now. So it's kind of like doing the calculations, how long is the energy gonna last in this current scenario. So if we go into our air condition and basically turn it up a little bit so it turns off, we can kind of get an idea of where we're gonna be at. So now that the air conditioner is off, the home is using less energy. Off grid, it says about 11 hours remaining. Keep in mind, this is kind of dependent on a few factors. One, the solar energy being produced right now. Two, the amount of power in the power walls. And three, the amount of power that the power walls are capable of storing. If I had more power walls, that would push the estimated time remaining out farther. The highest amount I've seen is 18 hours, which may not seem like a lot, but keep in mind, we only need a certain amount of time to last overnight when there's no sun. Every new day is a new opportunity to absorb more solar power, more power to power the house, and more power to recharge the power walls. So as long as you can get about 12 hours remaining before nighttime, you're good to go. And one thing I noticed about this off-grid test is that this is all kind of like software based. So we did not flip the switch outside on the Tesla Energy Gateway. It's software generated, so it's more intelligent. So if we want to do an off-grid test just to see how long our house can last, and the power walls end up going to 0%, the system will intelligently turn the grid back on. That way, you're not in the middle of the night with no power, your AC shuts off, your fan shuts off for no reason. If it detects you're gonna lose power, it reverts back to the grid. So it's kind of like a safe off-grid test. It's not super extreme. Okay, one thing I love playing around with is basically testing like all the kitchen appliances I can use when off-grid. So I wanna pay attention to the time remaining. I wanna see how it estimates the time remaining. So for example, let me preheat my oven, let me turn on the toaster oven, and then let me turn on the air fryer. So basically now you can see the home is using more power. We're at 6 kilowatts, and now it's estimating that we have 4.8 hours remaining. Because we have some power coming from the power walls, we have some power coming from the solar power. Which, it may not seem like a lot, but we're not going to be cooking for 4.9 hours, Now, if we want to make it a little interesting, we can turn a few of the stovetops on as well, and that's really going to push the system. It says about 3 hours remaining. We're using 10 kilowatts, and the power walls are sending 7.3 kilowatts. So we're not really maxing out the system. Should we see what happens if we basically max out the power walls? It's a good test. We need to see what happens. So I gotta have all the burners on as well. The power walls are now sending out 10.4 kilowatts. 12. So they're maxing out. This is their peak capacity. This is very interesting. And they're still managing. So between the solar and the power walls, they're managing to run the stovetop, the oven, the air fryer, and the toaster oven. And it has not tripped, it has not gotten power from the grid. That's impressive, Do we want to turn on the microwave too? I think it tripped. Yeah, I heard. Yep. It didn't like that. So it basically kind of like flickered like normal. So I did not see any power come from the grid, but it did flicker because it was getting a little bit too crazy. We had a little bit too much fun. I just want to double check. Everything is off. My power flow seems a little busted right now. I think because the internet also went off. So it's not really reporting correctly. Okay, so now basically after the internet reset and everything reset, we can now see the correct production. So it looks like we are now back to the grid. The solar inverter has to reset. The power walls aren't even sending power to the house right now. It was just kind of like, oops, you're using too much energy. We're going to get power from the grid now. So, I mean, that was good to test. But in an off-grid scenario, you're not going to want to turn on every major device in your kitchen if you only have 2 power walls like me. But it was good to see how it behaved. Okay, I just waited a few minutes, and now the power walls are back to discharging. The solar has not turned back on yet, like the inverter is still kind of starting back up, but the power walls are working again. So you're not going to break anything by overloading your power walls. It's just going to basically trip the power, and the grid's going to come back on as normal. So I like how that behaves. If you're trying to do a long-term off-grid test and something happens overnight while you're sleeping, you're not going to be awoken by no power. It's just going to maybe flicker for a second and go back to normal. So I really do like how that behaves. Like I said before, it's all intelligently software-based. There's no like hardwired switch where the grid is off no matter what. It's off under the optimal scenarios. Okay, and I just checked my garage. I heard a lot of clicking on my inverter. Sure enough, my solar power is now back on again. 1.9 kilowatts, 0.9 going to the house, the rest going back into the power walls to charge them back up. It is only 2 o'clock p.m., but there's about to, a storm is coming, so that's why we don't have much solar energy right now. So there we go. So that was just a demonstration of the go off grid function. I did do a whole video on this new Tesla app. So you can watch that right here if you have not, or I'll put another video right there. If you're not subscribed to my channel, make sure you do that. I'll put my face right here. Click that to subscribe. Have a good day. See you later. Bye.